Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So today I got a whole bunch of stuff in ink-wise, so I thought I would do a completely separate video from the haul because the hauls are just too long when I do stuff like this. And I really want to just dive into all of these ink samples, get them in my book, a couple new big bottles, a couple new pens, just like a lot of little things that came in that I thought would be good in all just one video. So if you're feeling like listening to me jabber about some new ink swatches that I'm going to put down, if you love to check out colors and see, I love these kind of videos, see the new pens, sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and we will dive right into this, and I'll show you all the new goodies that I picked up from both jet pens and from Goulet pens. So give me 1 second. I'm going to get everything out of the packaging and then we'll get started. Okay, I think I have everything unpackaged. I zoomed you in so that you can see the ink swatches as we do them. And then I wanted to show you, I picked up this pen. I got it at Jet Pens, and it's basically a dip pen, I guess, and it's by Sailor. I thought it would be really kind of fun to be able to use to kind of play around, because I have been using this one right here, which this end of it is pretty fun. This little end right here is pretty fun, but this end is really scratchy and kind of sharp, so it's hard to write with. So I thought, oh, I'll test out this one and see, but it's got kind of like a flat nib right there, so I think it would be fun for doing like the lines, but maybe not so much for the writing, but we'll see. We're gonna test it out. I may end up going back to this one for the actual writing. And then I've got a ton of inks to go over and a couple of new pens. And this is what I'm using right now for swatching, but I did order a Hobonichi notebook that I'm going to be using for swatching, but I do have all of my ink swatches in here. And I really like the way they look on this Hobonichi page paper, with it being kind of like that. It's pretty white paper because this is just white copy paper behind it, so it's pretty close. It's a tiny little bit off, but anything that's not a bright white paper makes it hard for me to really see the true ink color behind it. But there's several ink swatches in here, but I'm going to become more organized with the new book when it comes in. I'm going to redo all of these, so just kind of ignore what I've done so far. We are going to do it. I'm going to do it twice because I promised my daughter that I would show her the new ink so that I could fill her new pen, which is this one. I'll show you this one right now. So this is just a Jinhao, and this pen has quickly become one of my favorite cheap pens. Before, the Pilot is always going to be a favorite cheapie of mine, which I have several of because I keep them inked with different inks. But the Jinhao this is 100% Cloth and Paper's fault because they sent us one in a box, not this particular one, but it was a Jinhao pen. And I thought, wow, I really like this. And they're very inexpensive. So I went on to Amazon and I found a Jinhao retractable, which I then also fell in love with. Bought a second one that I'm using currently right now, and then my daughter picked up this one. So this is her, she wanted a pink one to go with all of her pink stuff, but it's a retractable. And it writes so good for being such an inexpensive pen. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So I promised her I would ink this stuff out to send her to, FaceTime her, and she could pick one that I could put in here and take to her tomorrow when I see her tomorrow. So that is why I'm going to swatch it with you before the other book comes, and then I'll just end up swatching everything twice, which I don't mind because I love swatching. Okay, the other thing that I picked up, let's go over these really quick. I picked up 2 new TWSBIs. Now, I had TWSBIs before, wasn't a fan of them, wanted to give them another test to see if I would like them. So I ordered 2 of them. It would help if I opened it the right way. And of course, oh yeah, I forgot about this. 2 of my favorite colors ever. So as you can see right here, we have the bronze, Eco Bronze. Let me get this open. Okay, I got this. Ooh, that's hard to get out. Should have opened these too before I turn the camera back on. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got all the stuff off, and it looked like they had the same tag on them, so I'm really hoping they didn't send me two of the same pen. But if they did, I'll give one to my daughter and I'll just get the right one. But anyway, here is pen number 1. Comes with too many things, just too many things in here. So here's the first one. Take it out of here. So this is the first one, and it's that beautiful brown color with the copper looking hardware, which is just absolutely gorgeous. And now here's the test. I'm getting ink all over my hands and I haven't even started swatching yet. And then this one should be, yeah, it is. Okay, whew, I was worried. This is the other one, which also has bronze. Let me get the little stickers out again so that I can read it to you. So it just says bronze espresso. And the other one says bronze. Yeah, they don't really have the names on them. I'll have to go and look online to see what they actually call these, but I'm sure you guys have seen them. They're not new, but I wanted the 2 brown ones for the fall because I'm a brown ink nut. As you can probably tell, I have more brown inks than I have any other color ever. And so I want these for fall so that I can fill them up with some colors that I'm going to enjoy using all fall long. And then I got one of these off of Amazon, which is where I'm going to keep everything. Currently, I'm going to have my currently inked in here. So I'm going to be putting all of these guys, including my other pens that I have, because I have more pens in here, and storing them. So they'll stay nice and safe, and I can take them with me when I'm going over to, apparently, my daughter's a lot, because she is now obsessed and wants me to come over there and plan like all the time. So anyway, let's get into some of these inks. Oh, before I go any further, I did reorder an ink, so I want to show you which one I reordered so you can see it already swatched out, because we don't need to do it again. Or maybe we do. Maybe I didn't swatch it. Did I not swatch it? I didn't finish swatching all the inks. I was in the process of it, kind of playing around with an old planner to see if I would like swatching them out on this kind of paper, and I absolutely love it, but realized that I wanted a book dedicated just to ink swatching, and so I may not. Oh, here it is. This is the one that I ordered. So the Monteverde Smoke Noir. This is that bottle number 2. This is one of my favorite inks to use, as this is what I use as like a black ink. So it looks very light right here. It's a little bit darker when you put it in a pen and you write with it, but I love how it starts out really dark and then it fades to this beautiful gray, like dark gray color right here. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. So this is bottle number 2. So it was just a restock. And then we can get into, these were the newest inks that I got, the Brown Sugar and the Canyon Rust and Joy. So where's Joy? I have this one currently inked in one of my pens as well. It's actually the other Jinhao pen that's in the fall colors. I have the Monteverde Joy Sepia, and this is from the Emotions collection. So I have that one also inked up in one of my pens right now. So anyway, let's get going with, oh my gosh, there's so many inks here. So many inks. How about we start with the full bottles? So I did pick up this one right here. This is a Shimmer ink by Diamine. I think that's how you say it. Diamine. I hear both. This one is Dragon Blood. I'm usually not a big fan of red, but when I saw it swatched out online, I was very intrigued. And having the TWSBI ECOs and hearing people talk about how well they do with shimmer inks, I decided I wanted to test it out. So I got a couple of shimmer inks in here to test. I'm just agitating it to get the shimmer all mixed up so that we can see all that when I put it down. I just think that this is going to be a beautiful one to use, not only around Halloween, but also in the winter, because a lot of my kits in the winter have some heavy burgundies and reds in them and greens. So I just thought this might be a beautiful one to use for winter and Halloween. So it's kind of got a dual purpose. So what I do is I take my little dropper, and I do not remember where I got this little dropper, but I know that you can get similar droppers on Amazon. This one just happens to be a kind of a tiny one. And then my high-tech spoon, and I just kind of swish it around, And then when I let it all dry, oh, I forgot to put my paper underneath it in case this is a super wet ink. I don't want it to bleed onto the other one on the page behind, but then I just kind of let it do its thing. I'm actually going to slide this in here. So far, none of them have bled through this paper, which surprises me because I kind of, well, this planner is old. It's probably before they were having paper issues, so maybe that's why. And I do know that the newer ones are much better, like the new paper this year is supposed to be fantastic, so I'm not super, super worried about it. But I kind of feel like the one I ordered is probably an older one. So let's see how this pen does. So this is that Sailor. Oh, this is fun. I like that. I wonder if I can write in it with it. So let's go. You have to write kind of slow. Diamine. Oh, there. I messed up an E. Oh, if you tilt it a little bit this way, you get a little bit of a finer. Dragons. Blood. Sorry about my voice. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. Yay me. But my voice has been kind of weird lately. Okay, there. So once that dries, we'll see if we can actually see any of the shimmer come through. And then I just rinse it out in a little, I've got a little beaker of water right here that I rinse it out in. Use my little very well loved soft cloth to wipe it off. And then we move on to the next ink. Unfortunately, I'll have to take a lot of breaks in between because I can't flip the pages over. So there'll be a couple of breaks in here. You won't notice it because we'll just move right into the next one, but I will have to walk away and do something else while this page dries. Otherwise, it will end up all over the other page and it won't dry the way I want it to. And I really want to see the shimmer. If you really let your pages dry, like this one, the Smoke Noir, there's a tiny little bit of shimmer in that, it looks like. Then like this Robert Oster's Rose Gold Antica. Look at that. I mean, it's just stunningly beautiful. So any of the ones that you, with the shading and the shimmering, you really just got to let it dry to fully appreciate the ink. But I can fit at least two more of these. So this is the, I'm going to totally butcher this. This is by Sailor, and this is the Shikiori, and I believe, what did they call it? I think that was it. Sailor Shikiori. Yodaki. Is that how? I don't know. I'm probably butchering it and I apologize, but Shikiori Sailor Yodaki. So this is another one of those ones what I just thought it was swatched out online so beautifully, and it's another gorgeous red that I just really wanted to play with it and see if it's an ink that I would like to. I plan on doing a currently inked for you guys every month, starting probably next month when I get my act together with all the new pens and the inks and try to figure out which one's going to go. But if you go back, I'll link it at the end of this one. If you go back and watch the Autumn Glen plan with me, there's what I'm currently using for everything, not just the regular inks like this, not just the fountain pen inks, but also what highlighters I'm using, what chalk inks I'm using for stamping, all of the things. They're all on that video. And I did a whole swatched out video for you guys so that you can see like what kinds of ones that I'm using for this month, for the month of September. But I want to make it its own video because I think it would be so much more fun to do this. And oh my God, that is beautiful. I can see it already. It is absolutely stunning color. I love this. I'm not a red ink kind of person because for me, red ink just reminds me too much of school. Do you remember when you're in school and you get your paper back and there's a bunch of red ink all over it? You know you didn't do well. That's just what it reminds me of. But I have a whole new appreciation for it, being into these fountain pens and fountain pen inks and just like being an absolutely obsessed with ink. I just think it is so beautiful and all of the different properties of the ink, and I can't get enough of it. Shiki Ori. And then on the bottle it shows this Yodaka. No idea what that means, and if you do, I would love for you to tell me in the comments, and then I will put it in here next to this in a little note. But I'm assuming it has something to do with some kind of red. But oh my gosh, that is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Love it. And I can already see the shimmer. There's some gold. I think that's gold shimmer coming out, right? I can see lines forming. Oh, I'm excited about that one. Okay, okay, let's move on. So after those two and my restock of the Sailor of the Smoke Noir, the rest are all samples. I went kind of sample crazy, mostly for the girl, for my daughter, because she was wanting to see different inks. So let me see if I can pick one that will not clash, because she's a pink and purple kind of girl. So she had me pick up a bunch of pink and purpley ones, and I don't want that here. So let's do the Robert Oster's Cafe Crema. This one is one of the ones that I wanted to test because I thought this one might be a good one for one of the new pens that I just got. So I'm testing them out this way, and then I'm not shy about buying full bottles of ink. You probably can already tell that, but I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of testing, especially since my daughter is getting into it and she likes to look. Oh, that's a lot of ink. This is going to be a problem. Way overdid that. Way overdid it. I wonder if I can blotter this up or just spread it further. Ooh, that's a nice color. Maybe I can make a little bit, bring it down just a little so it's not so much in the puddles. Goodness. Yeah, I went a little overboard with that one. Just a little bit. And it doesn't help that this is at the end of the book and it needs to be pulled up. So I will see if I can find something while this is drying to level that out so it won't be so cockeyed. And then the other thing about samples is you get it all over your pen when you're trying to stick your pen in there. Ooh, that is a wet ink. It's a very wet ink, but I love it. Okay, this one's probably gonna go in one of those pens for sure. For sure. Robert Oster Cafe Crema. Oh my gosh, I love this one so much. I am a brown ink crazy person. Absolutely love brown inks. So, yep, and that's one of my quests. One of my quests I'm on is to get as many brown inks that I love as I can. And I just already can see I'm going to really like this one. I love the shading already. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop off and pop back on once this is dry. We'll take a look at it a little bit better once it's all dry, and then we'll flip on to the next section because I have a lot. So I hope you have something to drink and you're comfy, and I'll be back in a second to do page 2. Okay, this page is all nice and dry and I've made my choices. So this beauty right here is definitely going to get the Robert Oster's Cafe Crema. I just think that's absolutely a stunning combination. It's going to look beautiful in this pen. Yeah, I'm actually really excited. So next page that's drying, I'm going to go ink these up so that we can test them out. So that's that one. And then I thought this beautiful pen right here really needs this Monteverde brown sugar in it. So I'm going to be inking that one up, and I think that one's going to be absolutely stunning as well. So I will ink these two up after the next set of pages is drying and then bring them back to kind of show you how they write. And I will do a little bit of test writing with them. I'm just really curious to see if any of the properties of these inks actually come through on that pen. So now let's move on. We could probably use a couple of spots on this page with, let me see, before I move on, because there's some pinks in here, so we can put some pinks. How about this? I think this is one of the ones that they sent me as a sample because I let them send me, there's an option on Goulet pens for you to allow them to send you ink samples themselves. Let me straighten this out. You're a little bit crooked. And so I think this is one of the ones that I do not remember putting Polar Blood Falls in my basket, but we're going to test it out and see how it looks because it sounds very intriguing. And it looks like it probably will go pretty well on this page with the other inks. When I get my new book in, that's when I'm going to be kind of really picky and give myself lots of space in between sections so that I can put all the browns together, all the pinks together. You know what I mean? Like try, and I'm going to try, if I can, to do it in rainbow order. So that way there is not a lot of ink in here. So if, God forbid, if I like it, because I'm going to have to actually go and purchase it. And it's going to be really hard to get my pen in there to swatch, but we're going to try. And I think I put way too much there. So let's see this one. This is going to be a surprise for both of us because I'm pretty sure I have never seen this before. It looks like a very kind of, I don't know, it looks almost orangey red to me. It's an interesting color. It looks like very watered down blood, which usually, you know, you don't see watered down blood. Like if you're in the medical field, you know that blood always comes out thick and sticky, not usually watered down. But if you were to take some and water it down, I feel like this is what it would be like. Wow. So this is Noodler's, by the way. I don't know if I actually said that. I'm gonna have to clean the heck out of this pen. And like I said, it is Polar Blood Falls. So let's put Noodler's. This name always makes me smile when it really does make me think of noodles. And then Polar Blood Falls. Again, I don't think this is one that I picked because I really only picked a couple of reds, and this is obviously a red, so I don't think I picked this one, but that is a very interesting color. I'll be very surprised to see what it looks like when it dries. So we've swatched that one and put it over to the side. There's also Noodler's Habanero, so let's swatch that one out right under it, so we'll keep these two kind of together, because I feel like if it is anything like the name says, it's going to be a very hot red, like a fire red color. So let's put it here. Ooh, this one is a wet ink. Oh, I can see the yellow. I see it. Actually, I might even have this one, to be fair. I feel like I have something similar to this. Yeah, I feel like I do. Is that bad when you get so many inks that you forget which inks you have? That is why you need a swatch book. Yeah, I think I have this one, but how beautiful is that with the reds and the yellows? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like I have it though, so this poor pen is getting so messed up. It's so dirty. It's beautiful. Okay, another Noodlers. And then this one is habanero. My little heart at the end. Okay, I'm going to let these dry. I'm going to ink up those two TWSBIs and then I will be back in a second. All right, so I cannot for the life of me get these two right here, the last two reds that we inked, to dry. It has been quite a while since I walked away from it, and so I decided to just put a piece of paper in between, let it blot it up, put it together. They're beautiful colors, but they're just not behaving. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to write with those in a book. Anyway, I thought I would pull out my MD notebook. So this is MD paper, Japanese paper. It is obviously not white. I did want to use this as a swatch book, and I started to swatch in it and then realized that this isn't going to give me the true colors. So I ended up, like I said, ordering. That's what prompted me to order the Hobonichi, but I thought we could at least write with the pens that I just inked up. So this one right here is the dark brown. I think this was called espresso, maybe. I still haven't looked it up, so I haven't had a chance to, but this one is inked up with the brown sugar from Monteverdi. So I thought that I would just, the only thing about these pens that I have to get used to is the filling mechanism, because you have to dip like the whole thing in order to fill it. And I don't like this right here where it fills up inside of the barrel, because when you change out your ink, you're just going to have ink in there. It's going to get stuck in there. So I don't know if you're a TWSBI person and you have any tips. I was thinking about using the wrench and just taking that mechanism off. I've watched a bunch of videos to see how you do it to make sure that the thing doesn't fall apart, and just filling directly into the barrel when I clean it out this next time. So that might be an option, because I'm not really sure. I'm not really digging this dipping the whole thing into the inkwell, and I could not do that with one of these samplers. So in order for me to try one of the samplers in this pen, I would have to take it apart because you can't dip it. It doesn't go far enough in order for you to suck up the ink. So I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm not, this isn't my, this is brown sugar ink. Well, it is just, look at that. It is a beautiful dark, almost black brown. I love, 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 love. This color is just beautiful. And this is a nice, smooth writing experience. Whoops, there goes my cat. I thought you were supposed to be able to post these. Maybe I did it wrong. Anyway, there goes my cat. So this one is, I believe, I have to look at my receipt now because, of course, it's buried in there. I believe it's a fine. I feel like it's a fine nib, but this one might, we'll see. I may have bought one medium and one fine just to see the difference between the two. So this one might be a medium and the other one might be a fine. So let's see what the other one looks like. So that is that ink, which I think is beautiful. I'll pull it up nice and close so you can see how pretty that is. It's absolutely stunning ink. And then this one, because I could not fit the, I couldn't get the Robert Oster's Cafe Crema in here, so I ended up going with the Tom Studio Walnut. And I know this is a calligraphy ink, but I trust, I've seen other people use calligraphy inks in the TWSBI pens and not have a problem. So we'll see what happens if this one actually gives me any trouble or not. But this one is the Tom's Studio Walnut ink. And this one's got a lot of like shading properties to it. There's a lot of, I'll show you the ink swatch. It is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful ink. And it's behaving quite well. We'll see after it sits for a little while if it like clunks up or anything, but definitely keep an eye on it. But I have all the tools, but isn't that so pretty? I'll show you the ink swatch because this just doesn't do it justice. It is a wetter ink, so it will take a little bit longer to dry, but definitely not as long as those two reds did. Those two reds are ridiculous. So I'll show you what I mean by the two reds. They're still wet. Look at the shine. And because I tried to blot up, it looks terrible now. Thankfully, this isn't going to be my all the time swatch book. This is just the swatch book that I'm using right now. But where's the walnut? I want to show you how pretty the walnut is. Okay, oh, there it is. Look at that. How beautiful is that? That is just an absolutely stunning ink with all of that shine in there. Oh my gosh, it is just absolutely a beautiful ink. So I really wanted to use it and I haven't had a chance to use it because I thought I could only use it in a calligraphy pen. And I don't have any calligraphy pens. And then I saw somebody using calligraphy ink in a TWSBI pen. It was actually white, which surprised the heck out of me that the white calligraphy ink was working in there, but they did, they used it and they had no problems. They were using it on black paper and it looked really cool. I don't really have any reason to do that, to make a pen specifically for white ink, but it was really fun to watch. Okay, so let's move on to the pinks and the greens. So I'm fairly certain if I ordered any of those greens, I didn't mean to because I'm typically not a big green ink fan either, unless it's like an olive or a moss or something like that. So we'll see what they sent me, but I'm pretty sure that those are not ones that I ordered, that those would be ones that they just sent me in the Surprise Me pack. So the Surprise Me ink pack's actually pretty inexpensive. I think it was like $10, and I feel like they sent me at least 3 inks for $10. So it's not too bad. All right, so this one is one of the pinks. This one is Pink Sugar Beach, and this is a Ferris Wheel Press. So that'll be a fun one. So far, this will be my first Ferris wheel. If my daughter likes it, then this will be the first one that we purchase of Ferris wheel. Because I always feel like their colors are very bright, but they always have like some type of a shimmer in them. And I'm kind of a bit of a chicken when it comes to shimmer inks and the pens that I use, because they don't tend to work well with shimmer inks. But we're at the TWSBIs now, and I'm branching out. I'm gonna see. Let's see what happens. So let's dip this guy in here. This is a very wet ink as well. I feel like this one's probably going to take a long time to dry. So good thing I'm going to put like 5 inks on this page. So this one is a Ferris. Probably would help if I put the S. Wheel Press. Well, that looks awful, but it's okay. And then this is Pink Sugar Beach. I'm really liking this pen. This is a really neat dip pen. Okay, so there's that one, which that is a really pretty pink. I think she might actually like that one. Let's put that one back there. And then the next one is Diamine's Hope Pink. Doesn't look like that's a shimmer ink. I'm not sure that I actually, other than the Ferris wheel, because I think all Ferris wheel I feel like all of the ones I've seen, whew, look at that, that is pink, have been very shimmery. So I wasn't sure if that had any shimmer to it or not, but I don't remember this one having shimmer. I don't know. If you noticed, I bought a lot of inks. I wanted to play around and kind of branch out, especially since I'm doing like a dedicated ink book. I wanted lots of inks, and because of my idea to do the inks every month, I wanted to have a lot to choose from, especially when you get into the summer months. Oh my goodness, I think she is not gonna like that. I don't know. Sometimes she can be a little strange. She's very much into Hello Kitty. If you saw the pen that I purchased for her. But this is way past. This is like almost fluorescent pink. This is a Diamine Hope Pink. Yeah, this is almost fluorescent. I guarantee you she's not going to like this one. She's definitely not that kind of pink. She's more of a soft pink. So I know that she really liked that purple one, which is a TWSBI, so she'll probably end up with that one. Okay, now let's go with apple green, because this one sounds like, this is another Diamine, however you want to say it, and I feel like it's going to be another one of those inks that is going to be almost like very, very green. I can already see it. It is very green. Oh my gosh, you should see it coming when I'm cleaning out the little sucker. All right, let's see. Oh my, yep, this is almost like a emerald, not apple. This looks more emerald green. Maybe when it dries, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not quite dark enough to be emerald, but it doesn't look quite light enough to be apple either. So this is an interesting ink. So again, Diamine, apple. Oh, sorry, Apple Glory, not apple green. Apple Glory. Use your eyes. Ooh, that is some intense, intense green color. Hopefully my camera is picking this up, because sometimes my camera can be a real brat. But hopefully, so now I have 2 more greens. I've got a Schaefer green and a Robert Oster crocodile green. Let's do the Schaefer green first, because I have no idea what this is. This looks very foresty, and whew, that's the kind of greens I like. The mossy, the foresty, maybe not. That looks actually a little bit blue-green now that I'm looking at it. Let's see. This is the fun part about swatching your inks. You get to see them. And another reason why I buy inks, I buy a lot of my stuff from Goulet. First of all, their YouTube channel cracks me up whenever they do their little YouTube channel stuff. They make me laugh. They're super into teaching. Like, they love to teach you stuff. Oh, now that is a very beautiful green. Oh boy, look at that. That is so dark. It is so dark. It's like spooky deep forest green, and very, very wet. So this is SHE EA. I'm not sure I have any inks from them. Schaefer. And it just says green. Schaefer green. That is so pretty. It is so dark though. Oh my gosh. It totally turned the water completely black when I put it in the water thing to clean it. Yeah, that is probably not going to dry today. I'll probably be finishing this video tomorrow because I feel like we're not going to be able to go any further in this book without me ruining a whole nother page. But at least I got the colors down my daughter wants to see, so I can call her. I can FaceTime her, show her, and then fill up her pen for her. And she'll be a happy little camper. This one's very yellow-green that I can see. Just from opening the cap. When you look inside, you can definitely tell just by the inside of the bottle. Yeah, it's a very mossy yellow green. So the green that I have that I plan on using soon is yikes, don't you dare go down there, is the one from Cloth and Paper, and it's the olive green color, and that color is, I love that color. I love that color. So I don't know why I just put that away. I still have to write with it. So that one's probably one that I'm definitely going to be using in my lineup whenever I get to a point where I need some of the darker, like mossy foresty greens. Like fall is a good time to use that, but I don't really have any kits with all that in it that I'm not already using right now. So I guess if I wanted to re-ink one of my pens, I could use it now, especially with the Autumn Glen. I'll bet you that color would have gone really well with that. And this is, well, they come up with their names. Crocodile green. I'm holding the pen all weird. My little heart. That is a fun green, but it's pooling up big time. So I'm probably going to have to see if I can spread it out a little bit more. Otherwise, that sucker's never going to dry. Neither one of them will. The one thing about this little guy that I love is this back part to it, this little back piece, because you can really kind of move stuff around with it, kind of spread the ink out a little bit, especially if you want to like darken up your swatches a little bit in some other areas where it might be a little bit lighter. You can kind of move it around, and then it's super easy to clean off as you just wipe it, and then you can move on to the next one, especially if they're pooling like this is. I'm just going to kind of bring it down a little bit. See if I can get some of it up. And then this end, maybe we could suck some of it up, because this right here is the writing part. So maybe maybe I could grab some of it with this. Don't be crazy with your ink swatches like me. All right, I'll let that dry, see if it'll dry. I feel like it probably is going to take all night, and then I will come back, show you what it looks like, and then we will move on to the last set of inks, which I believe have some of the winter inks that I'm definitely going to want to use with my winter collections. So I've got Document Fog Gray, I've got Pecan, Winter Spice, and African Gold. And I feel like those colors right there are going to do it. Those are going to be the winter palette, but we'll see once we swatch it out. So give me 1 second, let this dry, come back, and I'll swatch out the last of it. Okay, everything is dry, and of course she picked this one. So I've inked up her pen with this, and this is how it looks when you write out. It's a really pretty pink color. I think she's really going to be happy with that. It's the right kind of pink for her. She definitely didn't go for that one, which is exactly what I thought. I kind of figured she would do that one, but you never can tell with these kids, right? All right, let's do the last 4 on this page. Put the blotter paper under it. It's quite a lot of bleed through on these with this paper, whereas some of the other like ones that you wouldn't think. So this is kind of, I don't know if it's just me being heavy-handed with the ink or what, but it's okay. That's what testing is for. All right, let's start with the Noodler's Pecan. If I can get these, man, they put these caps on good. They do not want you to. They don't want them to spill, which is nice. Plus they come in a plastic bag, which you saw at the beginning of the video. So they definitely do a pretty good job packing up your orders. Okay, I'm just gonna set that over there. And then this one looks a lot like habanero. Let's see what it does when it dries, but it looks a lot like the habanero ink with the red and the yellow. Very fall, very pretty. I do like it, but it's not like I expected. I expected it to be a little bit more brown. So I don't know. Let's see. So this is Noodlers. Let me get that right. Oh, I ran out of ink. Let me pull some from right here. Guess I didn't dip it enough, or I'm holding it wrong. Let me see. I gotta get my little heart in there. Okay. There is that one. It's water that I'm cleaning everything off with is they're looking pretty bad. It's black. I need to switch that out, but oh well. Well, let's keep going. All right, next is, which one do I think will look nice? How about we try the African Gold? Let's see what this one looks like. Should be able to fit all 4 of these on here. Get this out of here. So that one isn't exactly the color I expected for like a winter color, that pecan. I was expecting something a little bit more brown red, I guess. I don't know. So let's see what this gold is. Yep, this is pretty gold. It's kind of like a greeny gold. And it's a pretty dry ink. I kind of like it. I do. All right, let's do the writing test. This time I dipped it a little too far. Yeah. Now I have too much ink. Either not enough or too much. Okay, so this one is a Robert Oster. And it's called African Gold. And I really like this one. This might have to be one that goes in the stash because I do like it. Okay, let me put the cap on this one and then we'll move into the Fog Gray. So this is A. Artamentis Document Fog Gray, which I'm hoping that this is, oh, it looks like it is a blue gray, which is what I want. I wanted a blue gray for my winter artwork. So I think this is going to be fantastic. All right. It's got big drops, which means I think this is going to be a wet ink. Let me clean this out because this is pretty pigmented. I don't know where they're getting gray from, but maybe it'll dry down to a gray because this is very blue. It's a beautiful blue, and I think it'll make a beautiful winter blue color, but maybe it'll dry down to gray. I don't know. We'll see when it dries, but it's very pretty. I do like it. All right. So, document Fog Gray. I'm really curious to see what that looks like when it dries down, because I can see it already. It might be a lot like the Smoke Noir, where it starts out really dark, the Smoke Noir does, and then it dries down to a beautiful gray. Maybe it's like that, which would be fantastic if that was the case. And definitely would be going in one of my pens. Matter of fact, I'd probably get a pen to go with this. Okay, and then Winter Spice is the last one. This is probably like a cinnamony brown. It kind of looks like that to me, just from peeking at it through the window here. And it's kind of sticky. What does that mean? Does that mean it's old? And I probably shouldn't put it in my pens, or maybe it's it doesn't say that it's like only for dipping or any of that, but this is a thick ink. I don't know if I'd put this in my pen. It's a very nice dark color, which I do love the color, but I think I've got plenty of these that are this color, like this dark, and I don't think I would need this, but look at how thick that is on the inside. I think this is kind of an older ink. It's pretty. So this is a diamine Winter Spice. If it dries down to something different than what I have, I don't know. I really do like how dark that is, and it looks like it's gonna do a whole lot of shadowing in there, which would be really pretty. But I'm not sure that I have any pens because I don't have any of the pens that have like the blunt tips. I don't have any of those, so it probably wouldn't really show up too much shadowing. I think the biggest tip I have on any of my pens is a medium, and I'm not sure a medium would really let that shine the way I think it's supposed to. But okay, that's where we're at. That's all the things that are all swatched out. So I'm gonna let this dry, come back, and we'll do some final flip through, some final thoughts, and yeah, so that might take a while, so I might actually be finishing up this video tomorrow. Okay, so let's just take a quick peek at all of the colors that we've swatched out today. This is, and they're all nice and dry. It's actually been about 24 hours, so they're very, very dry, and all of the beautiful shimmers or highlights or shadows are all coming through on this paper. I absolutely love it. This one we didn't do, so ignore those ones, but this is that one that took forever to dry, and then I tried to blot it so it looks awful, but it's okay because this came today, and this is what is actually going to be the swatch book. So this one is kind of like just because I wanted to see, and I needed to get this one for my daughter. No surprise, that is the one that she picked, and I filled her pen with that and gave her the rest of the sample so that she can refill it when she's done. Love this green right here and this Schaefer green. I love those. The Noodler pecan is a way different color than I expected it to be, but I'm really liking all of it. It almost reminds me of the habanero, so it's getting pretty close to that. And look at this document fog gray. Oh my gosh, it is just absolutely beautiful. And then this Winter Spice is a green and a gold and a brown all together. Totally cannot see that until you actually put it down and let it dry. But oh my goodness, that is a beautiful ink. Beautiful, beautiful ink. Definitely going to be using that one. So that is all that I have in here. I'm going to re-swatch over there. And yeah, so thanks guys so much for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. If you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down in the comments down below any inks that you think I would particularly love to try. Any pens you think I would particularly love to try. I would love to hear all about it. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.